Quick Takes with Ed Masterson.
What is MM and MC Phono, and what are they for? And then I guess what the differences? What are the differences?
Right. Interesting. We're still talking about vinyl, huh? I can't believe it. I mean, I already told you this, but now that I can't help it, I'm just astounded. Best Buy just dropped their
CD, yeah.
Dropped CDs, but they still carry vinyl, or they now carry vinyl. It's like, really? So, all right. So you're talking about the phono input for a turntable. Okay. Turntables are different than other sources. Let's say you have a CD player, DVD player, whatever, VCR, it's the old days, that have the red and white jacks, RCAs come out. Holy cow, I lost my train of thought.
As far as MM, MC.
Okay, yeah. So the phono preamp input is different, okay, because a turntable is different. The output of a turntable cartridge is much lower in voltage level than the output of a CD player. The standard for a CD player is 2 volts. When you start talking about turntable cartridges, this is 0.5 millivolts. So very, very low level signal. When you think about electronically, that that's getting down into noise levels, like the noise you can pick up on a cable. In fact, with a turntable, if you take a noise-generating device like a transformer or something like that, and you put it near the cable that goes between the turntable and the phono input, you'll likely hear that transformer going back and forth past that cable. You'll hear it in the signal. Very sensitive input. Moving magnet, moving coil are the 2 different types of cartridges. So what you need to know there is, what kind of cartridge does my turntable have? Right? Moving coil and moving magnet are describing the design of the cartridge. A cartridge is a little stick, a little tip on it that goes down on the grooves on your record, and those grooves make that tip vibrate. This is a stick. That stick goes through basically a hole with a rubber grommet, okay? And on this end of that stick, you have 2 options. You can put on a piece of magnet, okay? Or you can take and wrap wire around it and hook those wires up, okay? And so the difference is, the moving coil, the magnet is in the cartridge body, and there are wires wrapped around this end of the stick. So when it's vibrating, that end of the stick is moving in response to the vibration inside a bunch of magnets, like in a magnetic cave. And then those wires are moving in there. When that happens, it generates an electrical signal, voltage, that goes out on those wires that you have wrapped around that. That's a moving coil. Okay. A moving magnet is the opposite. It has the magnet on the end of the stick, and we have the cartridge body has the wire in it. Okay, and that magnet moves around inside a coil of wire. That generates that voltage on that wire. Okay, that tends to create the magnet inside the winding. Tends to create a higher voltage because you can put more windings
In the MC?
on the moving magnet, because it's in the cartridge. Okay, and the cartridge you can put basically as many as you want, because you can weight it so it doesn't weigh anything. On the turntable, that's what this weight's doing on the other end, right? It makes up for the weight of the cartridge and the head shell and all that. But because really what you want is that thing just vibrating without any real weight on it, so that the other end is moving inside the magnetic field. If you put too many windings on the end of that stick, it gets heavy, and then it doesn't move as easily. So it takes becomes less sensitive to the tiny vibrations, on the record. The same is true for the magnet, but with the magnet, they have the ability to wrap as many windings as they want. So it's a higher voltage, which has the ability to send that signal out more in a more robust fashion to the preamplifier. So it'll typically go at let's say 500 millivolts, okay, as opposed to 0.5. So a low output moving coil tends to have a very low voltage. So your preamp has to be able to take a very delicate signal and amplify it a long way, so that it then goes all the way up to 2 volts to be like all the other signals.
Okay.
So a lot of times you buy a separate phono preamp and we'll have those two choices. Most devices that have phono preamps built in, which is just crazy what's happening, they all went away. Nobody had a phono preamp built into their receivers or theater receivers or stereo receivers. All that kind of went away. Only a couple holdouts. Now we're seeing the phono preamps show back up on all the electronics, whether integrated amps or receivers, because of the resurgence in vinyl. But most people will have a moving magnet. One of the advantages is the tip can be pulled out. Most of them. The tip can be pulled out and you can put it in a new one. So if you break the needle, it's fixable. With a moving coil, it doesn't work that way because that's wired through the piece. So if you break the tip, it's got to go back to the factory and they got to basically rebuild it. Very costly and sometimes not even cost effective.
Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.